Regal Movie Masters. Unlimited.
This is the Regal Movie Masters Unlimited podcast where we indiscriminately watch every goddamn movie that comes out at the local theater. The movie masters today are Justine.
Hello.
Brent.
Hello.
Dylan.
Hey.
And I'm Colin, and I'm wishing all of you a Feliz Navidad as we just got out of Avatar 2, The Way of the Water, short film, an independent film put out by an upcoming director, Jimmy Cameron. This is a sequel to the 2009 small independent short film called Avatar, just Avatar. This round, we return to the land of Pandora to see the Na'vi people are still struggling with the exact same thing that they were struggling with in the first movie, which is that the sky people are coming down and they're taking their stuff. They don't understand the way of the water. They don't understand how to have harmony with nature. They just take and they take. But thankfully, Jack Sully, Jack Sully and his now full avatar form and his family, they're here to put a stop to it, but they got to run away to a water people and they meet a whole new people. There's been this people, they've been there the whole time. They're in the water, and baby, we are in the water because it's the way of the water. I wanted to like this. I really went into this film like Avatar agnostic. Like when the first movie came out, I was a much more cynical person, and I watched it on like DVD, like while clowning on it. So I was not taking the first movie seriously. Rewatched it recently, like within the last couple of weeks. I rewatched Avatar because I'm like, I'm going to prep. This is a big movie. I don't want to be a jerk and just like be too cool for this movie. I'm going to try to like this movie. So I watched the first one again, and I was like, okay, it's like an action sci-fi movie. Don't just dismiss it. This is the guy that brought you Aliens and Terminator. Put some respect on the name. There is some boots on the ground action sci-fi happening in the first movie, at least. And I really wanted to like this movie. Who here liked it the most? Who can maybe like guide me through it?
I liked it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Should shine some light on this. I don't want to be mean. I'm a populist. I'm with the people.
What do you want me to say?
Tell the people the good side of this film.
If you're into the first Avatar, you might like this one. Like, they acknowledge the fact that they're not the water Na'vi people, that they're forest Na'vi people, and they go to the other, like, I wish they kind of told you how long it took to get from the forest to that island. It was like, was that like 3 days or was that like one night? There was a night scene.
If it was overnight, wouldn't they, like if you're saying if it was in close proximity, wouldn't we have maybe seen the water people in the first one?
Yeah, I guess. At some point, they show you like they're flying away. Any like, we're on a boat and we're traveling kind of movie, like, it's nighttime and the waters are crazy and they're crashing all over the place. Mm-hmm. Then all of a sudden it's sunny again and it's like they're there.
Right.
But it's like, how long was that? Was that one full day? I don't know. Regardless, other than that, that's my one gripe of the whole film. I wish they just told us.
You wanted a map like in a Lord of the Rings book or something.
Yeah. I just wanted to know like how far and how long that drive was.
Okay.
And then they meet what I would assume the Samoans of Na'vi.
Right.
They're there and they're just chilling.
There's like some, fish out of water situations they have to adapt, right?
Yeah.
The forest Na'vi and the coral reef Na'vi.
Uh-huh.
They got to learn their ways. They got to fit in with this new tribe that they're in. Oh, but why are they on the run in the first place? You left that out.
Oh, because they found Jake Sully.
Yes.
And they're like, shit, they're coming back for us.
Wait a second, you said they. Who's they?
Who
found
the sky people, aka
led by
humans, led by Carmela Soprano.
But Carmela Soprano being the mastermind of it, who's the muscle of the organization. Colonel.
I don't know his name.
Colonel Quaritch.
Sure. So the first bad guy.
Yeah, he's back.
Is back.
Any differences? Because he died in the first movie.
He is now a Na'vi, but an avatar.
What?
What really threw me off about all of that was like, I don't know why
Tell me what threw you off.
I was
about
like,
the guy
why
who
they
died in the first movie coming back as an
So he
Avatar?
comes back, right?
Right.
And he comes back with other soldiers and avatars.
Right.
So I assume they're dead, like their humans are dead.
I think they mentioned something very flippantly about how they sinned in a past life and they're back.
Yeah.
To like redeem themselves.
So,
like jokingly
they did
said
like
that.
a backup, a brain backup
Right.
Yeah.
onto a little disc.
Also,
And
A little
then they
floppy.
downloaded it. Yeah,
A
they
USB.
uploaded it.
everyone who's watching the first Avatar and you're seeing humans get murked and you're like, oh, that person had a family back home. They had a life. Well, don't worry. All their memories, unbeknownst to you, were stored on a backup disk to be downloaded into a Navi avatar in 2022.
Do you think they have like the ad-free version of the download, or is it like, I'm going to shoot this guy? Hold on, watch this ad for Blue Chew first.
The Earth is dying, and now, whereas before they were trying to get the unobtainium, now
Is it called unobtainium?
isn't it?
Something like that.
Shut
I
up.
swear
It was
to
like
God.
in the tree.
Yeah, they were trying to find unobtainium in the Tree of Life in Pandora in the first one. This time around, nary a mention of unobtainium.
No, it really seemed like they were there to kill one guy.
Yeah, they were
Well,
pissed.
that's the focus. The sky people come down now terraforming it because they said the Earth is dying, and they're.
When did they say that?
Carmela says that my main mission here is to make this place livable for people.
That doesn't mean that they're gonna move all people there.
I think it does. They're
I
trying to.
assume that just means they're gonna have a base there.
Well, you can assume that because they don't tell you what they're there for. They say nothing of unobtainium like they had in the first movie, and then later on in the movie, there's this whole thing with like
the whale.
the whale chemistry in their brain that they're harvesting to make people stop aging, which I don't know what that has to do with if they're going to be living on this new planet.
Hey man, that whale was a composer.
Oh, okay. So, Dylan.
Yes.
So the Colonel is back.
Colonel's back.
In avatar form. He's hunting Jake Sully in avatar form. Jake Sully and his people in the forest need to leave to go to the coral place and adapt to the things there.
Not his
not
people,
everyone
but his
gets to go.
family.
His family.
Yeah.
So like
Yeah.
five.
Yeah, like five or
Five.
six of them.
Who are, I guess it's fair to say they're doing like tactical strikes on the sky people, the invading humans. They're like fucking up their supply chain. They're messing them up. Like, and the Jake Sully is the leader.
Yeah.
Right? In their minds, he's the head insurgent. So they get Sully. Somehow this insurgency just goes away and they can obtain an obtainium or not. So they have the sky people have motivation to murk Sully, right?
Yeah, because they're pissed.
Because he's fucking their shit up.
Yeah.
He's their leader.
Yes.
Okay. And so he goes into hiding with the coral people.
Mhm.
And his family has to adapt. And then they're hunted by the same people who were hunting them before.
Which doesn't make any sense because they straight up just ditched their own people. Isn't that the first place that they would have gone looking for him?
Is where their people
Where they
are.
know where they know he should be
And
and
the
where
whole-
they've been getting attacked and stuff.
I think-
They just immediately go
No, it's
burn down some or like other culture.
well, yeah. They're hunting Sully.
yeah,
they
but
they don't
that's
know
not-
where he's at.
Yeah, they don't know where he is. Why
So
wouldn't
they're
they
just
see?
murking-
Justine, please
Like-
don't encourage them to make this movie any longer.
So I think what happened is, while Carmela is over there in the forest area,
Right. You have to assume she's still.
Yeah,
at
she's
it.
there because you don't see her like she's done halfway
Right.
through the movie. She's like gone, not even halfway. Like maybe the first 25 minutes she's gone.
Carmela
Like,
Soprano has a brief cameo in
Yeah, yeah,
Avatar:
yeah.
The Way of Water.
she's there to like to summarize the plot.
She could have a 20-minute monologue, and this movie is so long that would still count as a cameo.
Yes.
She's also there to drink coffee. She's like in an airplane, like in one of those
Train things.
whatever
That
things,
James
and she's
Cameron,
drinking coffee.
he wanted to bring back that aliens thing so bad. They all have it.
That's also in the beginning. She's
Yeah.
drinking coffee everywhere she is.
She likes
basically.
coffee. That's her character.
That was I did think that was a cool part though.
yeah.
That
all that
Coffee?
shit.
No,
all-
when she's first there and she's inside of that machine where
Oh.
oh.
but she's in that thing. They did a good job of like she's holding the coffee cup with it. Like you can see actually where her feet are and stuff. Whoever worked on that, good job. Because I'm
Yeah.
sure it was just one person's job for like 10 years to work on that thing.
I'm not. Again, we're not here just to take joy in shitting on this movie. All the technology stuff, like the robots, the cranes, the crab robots,
That was silly. Though.
it was silly. It was silly in a good way. It was silly in the way of like, if I was 8, I would really want a toy of that and like break it immediately because all the pieces are too fragile. There was like aliens toys, and you could get that little crane
Oh, yeah.
thing. It was
Yep.
cool as shit. The aliens toys were legit. there's some good toyifying in this movie. Let's give them that. But hey, listen, we're talking about plot. We're talking about motivation. That's all nonsense. The star of the show here is the technology, right?
That's how it's marketed. Like James Cameron has reinvented cinema once again.
Yeah.
the technology making the movie.
Yeah, the
Oh,
CG.
that was like the movie,
I know. I was
No.
like, there was not that much.
No, like it's like a technical thing, right?
I suppose.
One of my buddies was telling me, he's like, man, in this movie, he experiments with frame rates. You know, because we normally watch stuff at film at 24 frames per second. He's
Okay.
like, there's some parts where like he's layered 120, blah blah. And so I looked it up. No.
Oh,
This
this was all a myth.
It's all. It's
Well,
not that
listen,
at all.
this is a working person's podcast here. We're watching it on a 2D ass, no IMAX, no 3D, regular old kind of showing. So I don't know. Maybe we got like the dumbed down version, and if we were watching it all big,
But it should still be a good story.
Yeah, I was
should.
thinking if they're coming out of the 3D one and being like, this movie is amazing, whatever. It's like, well, I saw it in 2D and it's not a good film if
Yeah.
you have to rely on people just looking at something in 3D. Go to like Disneyland, on
Yeah.
a ride where you look like you're going through the water. That's not a film, it's just you look like you're going through the water.
In music, they say the true test of a good song is if you could just play it like on an acoustic guitar and
Right.
it sounds lovely. Same with like watching a film in 2D. Like, yeah, you could have like the highfalutin 3D IMAX version
Yeah.
or whatever, and people are like, oh my God, that was amazing. They're talking about like, the sensation they had, with all the effects on. But yeah, when you reduce it down to its most basic
right.
form.
Years down the line, too, people are going to be watching this.
Yeah, you're not going to be able to
streaming
watch
at
it in
home.
3D.
So it's did it work for you guys? The CG, the effects, the character design, like any of the tech stuff that I think is the main attraction here.
The only thing I liked was the eyeball design of the whale.
Okay,
That was it.
there we go.
I think that there were things that they spent a lot of time on. I know it's like the holy grail of graphics is the water, right?
Right.
It's like, well, how does the water look? And
I know.
that's like all that anybody ever talks about. And this is like, okay, there's water. There was like real stuff, right?
I mean,
Because
if
they,
they
they had like the humans on the
Right.
boats, and it's like, okay, this must have been filmed in
yeah,
some
but
real
if
water.
if you have to guess, then they did their job, right? Because you can't tell.
No,
between the-
because that's in the middle of like the ocean. The water in the Navi land is very obviously computer stuff.
right.
But they did a good job on the water from the top. Once
Go
you
on.
get underwater, it doesn't look like you're underwater. I mean, obviously they did the way that things move, and they tried with the hair, but it's like everything under the water just looks like above water. It's just totally clear, And I get it. You can't obscure it too much, but I don't know. It just didn't look like underwater when they were underwater. And then there's a lot of like lights. I don't know.
Luminescence?
Everything
Yes.
lights up. And then I was thinking in different parts when they're like trying to sneak around in the dark when they're trying to fight. And well, you guys are glowing like all over the place. Everyone can see you.
Dylan, broad strokes. Do you like the look of the film, the CG and all of that?
Some scenes you could tell like they looked really good. The Navi people themselves,
Right.
But then like when they show Gamora, I forget her real
Yeah,
name,
it's
and I
Gamora.
forgot her Navi name. Yeah. When they show her, sometimes like she looks good. Like, oh, okay, they really worked on that. When they show her like kind of far, and she's like forced to run, it looks really shoddy. Like it just looks bad, choppy, blurry. And I was like, maybe it's just my eyes, but it happened a lot. So I was like, yeah. I would say the human technology stuff,
Right.
like that little spider thing that crawls on the
Sure.
thing. Like I thought that looked cool, but like I'll be honest, a lot of the effects hurt my eyes. Not like because it sucked. It was mostly my brain trying to process what was happening.
Good point.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
think
yeah.
like my main issue is I just cannot connect to watching blue CG things like duke it out for a long time. There's just no human connection there for me.
Have like the blue characters that have been on screen since the first Avatar movie made you look at avatars,
The Navi.
the Navi?
Come on, bro. You
Yeah.
just spent 3 hours in Pandora. You gotta.
Do you feel that like a Mystique or like the villains in Wakanda Forever? Like, does that make the avatars people seem cheaper to you in any sort of
Well,
way?
I did just watch Slacker, and I remember that chunk of dialogue where they talk about how the Smurfs are blue, and it's getting people, children, used to Krishna consciousness and seeing Krishna as a positive. So,
That's right.
in that sense, if we look at it as part of the Krishna propaganda, as predicted by Linklater in 1989, then no, I'm down for.
Yeah, Austin filmmaker Richard Linklater.
Anyways,
Mystique is cooler.
right.
Rebecca Romaine
For
Stamos
sure.
is cooler.
But that shit was a lot of hours in makeup. I mean, who knows how much
yeah, it's
makeup
like
these
practical.
people are on.
Yeah. Like to Dylan's point, that's more pleasing to my eye.
Yeah, I did rewatch Crimes of the Future since we're kind of at the end of the year, and I'm trying to like rewatch the ones that I liked a lot to make sure I still like them a lot. Man, those are really some rough practical effects. Like the bone chair jiggling around looks like a goddamn bone chair jiggling around.
Yeah.
And it's so fucking cool. Like I love it so much. Even watching it streaming, it's great and like effective. And this $300 billion
More, yeah.
plus movie is like so much to get so little out of me. Like I said, I think it's the main attraction of the film, and it just falls so flat for me, at least. But again, maybe I'm missing something. But hey, let's dig deeper and talk about the script here. Dialogue. I mean, obviously, no one cares about that. That's not what people are watching this movie for.
You know what I'm confused about?
Go on.
So in the first movie, he just knows English but doesn't know like the
Jesus.
Navi language.
Don't even.
And in this one, everyone just knows perfect English. I was trying to piece it together because in the beginning, they're talking in like Navi language,
Yeah,
and
with
he's like,
the
but I
with the
prefer it in
papyrus,
English.
with
The papyrus font.
Typeface, yeah.
font.
And then
titles.
he goes like, but I prefer to hear it. I prefer talking in English.
Yeah, this is
and then
just like
they
talking
cut
English
from
to
like the Navi language, and then all of a sudden they just switch to English, and everyone's speaking English.
Even when like I'll give you like, okay, this is like a compromise. This is filmmaking. We don't want to have the papyrus subtitles the whole time.
Yeah.
We're gonna have them speak English, but to kind of hackily go like, well, this is basically English to me, so we're gonna be in English. Okay, fine. But then they're talking amongst each other, and they're just talking in English without Sully around. So like, I would get if he's our guide in this world.
Yeah. Our first person shooter.
Yeah, he's not even much in
No,
it as much
and-
as the kids.
But it's all English all the
Yeah,
time. Like, it's fine. People worked really hard on it. I
Yeah.
don't want to be like elitist here.
You know what's really funny?
Go on.
If you forgot that scene happened, the whole like, but I prefer to talk about it in English.
Yes.
That just means if you forgot that happens, you just assume the whales know English. It took me to remember just now, like, oh yeah, he did do that, so the whole movie can be in English.
Don't forget that fish speak like.
Well, they know sign language.
Them understanding people, fine.
Yes.
But the part that I'm like, come the fuck on, is when the Navi understand, like,
Well, you're forgetting that they say that they've been like
Connected.
bonded spiritually.
for a really long time.
Yeah.
Yeah, but not the outcast guy. And
Yeah, but he wasn't always an outcast. He's like a kid of those people, and so it would be in their culture to know different languages that.
But
they've
not
known
the
for-
forest guy. Again, him signing and the whale hearing it, no problem. The whale making whale sounds at him.
Yeah, they
and him
established-
understanding the whale sound.
After he bonds, he knows those sounds.
But he didn't bond.
He didn't do that thing where he takes the hair and plug it into the USB drive of the animal with the whale at that point. In the
True.
movie.
Yeah, he was
does
just
it
already
later.
talking.
Yeah, because there
to
was a
him.
line where he said to the whale something like, I can't understand you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and then he just does.
The part where he's like, "How come you're an outcast?" And he goes, "It's too painful." And he
Right.
just knew what that was.
Yeah, there's a subtitle for the whale.
Okay, listen, we're spending
great.
time in a magical, amazing new planet called Pandora. We're getting lost in the technical elements and all this. Big picture here, big plots.
Yeah.
Okay, so I think there's a part of the movie, there's a big push where you're just kind of supposed to be lost in the world, right? You're watching Earth documentary, like
I
Planet
mean,
Earth.
like immersed in.
Yes. And you're like, oh, it's along for the ride, and you're just being introduced to this world, and you're just supposed to kind of go with it, and that's fine. And then there's this other part where the sky people are hunting Mr.
Jake.
Sully, and his family, and the Sullys, they stick together as per the dialogue that they say. That's an actual line from this movie. They say the Sullys stick
It's
together.
several lines in this movie.
Repeated multiple times.
Family.
They're being hunted by Colonel Badman, and the Colonel bad guy is hunting them. So there's two things happening. There's this very peaceful Fern Gully. Wow, look at this world. Wow, this is amazing. This family's adapting to this other side. We're expanding the world of Pandora, and like hard action sci-fi. There's hunting people, there's military people, there's sabotage, there's these Skylanders with no respect for the land. And I feel like either of those would be fine. Both of them happening at equal volumes at the same time for the entire film is jarring to me. And I think if there's one thing we're talking about, like, the movie itself, not the technology, not the experience of watching it in IMAX, but like the shortcomings of the film, I think that's the big one that's underlined twice for me. The plot is at odds with itself. They should have kind of picked one. If it's an action movie, they're spending way too much time floating around the water. And if it's a look at this beautiful world, let's harmonize with it, I don't want to see you blowing up the whales and like doing all these like crazy military shit.
Yeah, I think James Cameron has a bit of what Peter Berg has, which is a hard-on for like military shit, but they've never actually served the military. A lot of the dialogue and what ends up making the final cut is just like, "Hey, you got my 6?" just like constantly. And it's just like,
the best part was you can't kill a Marine.
No, you can't defeat a Marine. You can kill him, but he'll go to hell and regroup. Hoorah!
Oh man,
movie's kicked ass.
I love that. I fucking love that movie,
dude. All the dialogue really just feels like it was just spit out in chunks of movies from the 80s and 90s. I'm coming to get you. You can't get me. And maybe that's that kind of dialogue. The Sullys stick together. He killed my son. No, it is not our time to go yet. Like that kind of approach to writing. Maybe that's like where the international market comes in, making it palatable for everyone of all ages.
So the crazy thing is, since they're doing 4 sequels, filming 2 at a time, they got 4 different writers for each sequel. And Jimmy Cameron, whoever this guy is, what he did is he did like a whiteboard session with all of them. He's kind of like doing all the major points of all 4 sequels. Heading into the meeting, he didn't assign any of the particular movies to any of the writers because he wanted them to pay attention to the full arc before they start writing, because he was afraid that if you were to say to somebody, "Hey, you're writing 2," they would tune out, the rest of the story, and it wouldn't factor into how they craft it. But I don't think it matters.
Well, we gotta wait for 3, dude.
What do you think of that, Justine? Did you feel like this is a complete movie, or is it like a victim of this grand design of franchise building and sequel-itis?
I was trying to think if this needed to be a movie. Literally the entire second hour is the boy, I was going to say flying, because it looks like flying because there's nothing happening in the water. But the boy flying around with a whale for an hour.
Yeah.
That's it. So it's like, if this was a cartoon, then you could have one episode, like throwaway episodes kind of. It's like, okay, here's this boy and he's bonding with a whale. It seems like the story that he's trying to tell would be better as a 12-part Disney series.
This is like the opposite problem of so many things that come out on streaming where it's
where they just
this
stretch
could have
it
been
out.
a movie. This doesn't need to be 12 episodes. This Avatar doesn't need to be a movie. It should have been a TV series.
Yeah, just make all 5, give them 2 episodes a piece or something, because it's too long spent on trying to make a movie out of one idea per movie. It's like, here's these people who are trying to get unobtainium, forcing these native people out of the place. Okay. Is that solved at the end of the movie? It's been
no, they just get at the end of the first one, the humans kind of get whooped, and they're just like, well, we're out of here. This isn't.
So they
worth
leave.
It. Yes, in this movie, it's pretty early on. The sky people come down and they torch a huge chunk of the earth, presumably to like keep doing what they're doing, which is raiding this foreign planet of all of its resources. Which is the same thing they were doing in the first movie, which makes sense that, they're going to come back. So they come back, then it's like 1 year later. But it's like, whoa. That 1 year seems really important because that's kind of the part I wanted to see.
I could see them lose you, your body language. I was like, wow.
I can't lie. Like I was in a focus group for this movie, they would not make it. They would just see I was brutally defeated during this.
You know what? There's a
beat me.
Yeah, there's a side of me that thinks that James Cameron kind of knows this because, and I have good news for people that don't want to see any more installments of this. James Cameron says that if 2 is not financially successful, he will end it after 3 and not go into 4 and 5. The quote from him is, "The question is, How many people give a shit now?
Great question, which I guess we'll find it. So
you were just talking about the timeline. So they see the people come down again.
Right.
And then a year later.
well, they don't see them though. Earth, like a huge swath of the forest gets scorched. So again, we're just supposed to write this story in our brain.
So a year later is when they're attacking back. Or
Right.
they're fighting back.
Yeah, and I think that's the interesting story that they're just refusing to show us, which is like, which was kind of the story of the first one, right? These imperialists come in to raid this place of its natural resources. The indigenous people fight back. That's a simple and effective framework for a story that could be good or bad, depending on how it's handled. And that's not the story that was told at all in this, because it just said 1 year later, and then this family is on the run kind of immediately after that.
So I am not versed in the Avatar series.
I am. I can help you.
so
What do you need? What do you
I
want
was
to know?
like, is this our timeline? Is this in the future?
Yeah,
Is this
it's-
like an alternate reality?
Yeah, no, it's
I mean,
2153.
obviously, there's not Avatar people, but okay. So if they're coming from Earth and they're going to this planet, how far away are they? Because if they left the planet in the first movie,
Right.
and then they come back, I guess he has kids, and
Well,
they're like
yeah.
what, 15 years old or something.
So yeah, there's that little baby, and they can't transport him back to Earth. So the baby grows up and is a spider baby, a monkey boy they call him.
Yeah, they actually call him Monkey.
Multiple problems. And it's
Even
so
though they
hard
are-
to take a movie seriously. Where it's like, monkey boy, no. Anyways, side note. Yeah, I guess whatever span it takes to get from a baby to the spider, that's how long the people were
That's how long
whooped
they
and ran
took
away
to
for.
regroup.
And then we came back with the new plan, which is like, we couldn't just come and take the thing we came to get. So what we're going to do now is terraform it and make it habitable for people, because Earth is gone. Like, that's way harder. And you couldn't do the first part, but whatever, fucking whatever.
It's just like they send very few people to go do that.
You know what I liked? When that sergeant comes out awake from his avatar form for the first time,
Right.
he starts beating the shit out of everyone around him.
Punching everybody.
And then after he does that, he has to watch a video log that he recorded himself.
yeah.
And he's like, oh shit, I died. And then they show like other Marines that you could give a fuck about in the first movie because they're barely in it.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden they're like, hey, remember us? Like our tattoos, which I don't know why you would like.
Tattoo
You
the
would
avatar.
add on the tattoos on the human form on to
On
their
the
avatar for.
Yeah.
Well, I had a dragon tattooed on my forearm as a human. I wouldn't feel comfortable in this avatar body unless I have.
You could sneak in, like you can infiltrate if you really wanted to, but you're giving yourself a fucking buzz cut and,
And
then
wearing
like
clothes.
yeah. Well, no, in the first one they wear clothes, like the human avatars.
Yeah. It
Yeah,
doesn't
but if
make-
they were trying to be stealthy.
Oh, I guess. Anyway, I don't know why they got tattoos. I like that. I liked. I hope in the next sequels, they explain. Okay, the Avatar girl, is her name Katie or Kitty?
I
It's
heard
not
Kitty.
Katie.
I heard Kitty,
Kitty.
and I
I
was
heard
like,
Kitty.
"There's no fucking way they just named her Kitty."
Yeah.
What's wrong with anything named
Well,
Kitty?
They have somebody named Monkey Boy. You don't think they're above
that's like-
naming somebody
No, that's
Kitty?
Spider. Monkey Boy is just his nickname.
Yeah. But his real name is Miles, but no one calls him that.
Jesus.
But like, that's the one name I can make out. All the other names I cannot remember.
Yeah, if
I'm
you
like,
can remember that name,
the
it's still
kids.
more
But I was
impressive.
more. Are they saying Katie?
Yeah, I thought that
Kitty.
it sounded like Katie a few times.
Yeah,
But then
but
it
then
sounded like Kitty most of the time.
Especially when the little sister had a collar.
Yeah.
And I also want answers on one, how did Sequoia Weaver Avatar give birth to that when she
Bro.
dies in the first one? I want to know who's the dad.
Yeah.
Then on top of that, right? I want to know how Jake Sully's avatar can reproduce.
Yeah.
Because like if it's a fake body, how does he have?
all of that. They try to ground all this stuff in science.
I want answers.
Kind of. I
Can't-
think they're banking on you wanting the answers. So they can make
dude,
more
I'm
movies.
they got me because I'm like, I'll watch the other three movies. I don't give a
If
fuck.
you
I
think
just
you're
want
gonna
to see what
get those
happens.
answers in the next 3, I got bad news.
Oh, I don't,
Man, this
dude.
is
I'm
not
sure
gonna happen.
James Cameron like gets it. You know. Also, one of my favorite parts. Lots of Navi feet. I was like, yeah. You
I can't
don't
remember.
Oh my god, are you serious? Like,
Oh, you're right.
they're
Yeah,
like
yeah, yeah,
she's
yeah,
like
yeah,
putting
yeah,
her feet
yeah.
in the water, but then like
But they
it's like
start-
below
they
her
start
foot.
below.
Yeah. So you just see her soles, and she's just like there. I'm like, lots of feet. In the first one, Jake and all the humans are wearing shoes, so you don't really see the feet.
Well, I'm on IMDb right now. It did say that Quentin Tarantino is a script consultant.
for this one.
Yeah, script
Oh, you're right.
consultant.
And this one, there's just like feet.
There's a
Like,
lot of just like uncomfortable 80% naked kids like
That's true.
in there.
Yeah.
It's kind of weird.
Yeah, they had like when they arrive at the coral. Yeah, they had like a implied teenager like female that they over sexualized.
Yeah.
They like Bo Derek Tender.
They
Yeah.
did. Yeah, thank you. That's exactly what I was trying to like think of. I was like, what did that remind me of?
I mean, it's, adolescent romance between the Na'vi people. So there's like, a love at first sight thing. And
That was a scene when they're trying to be like, oh, look at their tail. It's like too skinny and their arms are skinny. And then I was like, okay, so they have been apart enough to have evolved completely
yeah.
separately.
Yeah.
They have to have been super far away. Like they would have had to have interacted with each other.
yeah, it's like human beings in Hawaii and human
Yeah.
beings in Idaho aren't like evolutionarily different.
Yeah.
Their environment's different. Like I'm sure if I had to place money on who was the better swimmer,
Yeah, you're right. It would
I could
take
tell you, but
thousands and thousands of
yeah,
years.
they don't address these things.
yeah, it's I think everything we're talking about kind of falls under this general header of the tone of it. Is this turn your brain off and just enjoy the scenery in this beautiful, lush world? Or is it, here's the science behind all this stuff? Because it seems like they're, again, doing both. And like, if I'm trying to be pedantic about like, yeah, why do these people have gills? Then I'm definitely not going to be lost in the magic of the world where they put on butterfly wings and can breathe underwater and shit. Who is this for? Everyone? Who is this
sci-fi
for?
fans, bro,
Okay.
that likes that kind of sci-fi.
Like fantasy?
Yeah.
Do you think if we had kids and they liked it, maybe that's what it's for?
I don't think a kid could sit through three hours
That's
and 15
brutal.
minutes
Yeah.
of whatever.
Good point.
Like
Well, they like Star Wars movies and stuff. Like those
They are 3.5
prequels movies
hours.
are long.
which one?
Like the prequels movies, which are the ones that kids
Yeah, but okay.
gravitate towards.
Think about the action that happens in any of the prequel movies
Yeah.
and then whatever action happens in this.
I-
There's not much.
I
And
don't-
when it is, it's like, yeah, shooting, it's
yeah, there's
not
kind
kids.
of too. Yeah, it seems child friendly in terms of like the dialogue
Yeah.
and like the complexity of the relationships,
Yeah,
which is to
it's
say
very simple.
very simple.
Mhm.
But it definitely doesn't seem childish. And I don't know, my experience was very similar to being in like a traffic jam or like waiting for a DMV appointment. I wasn't literally watching a clock. I was just like, I was trying to be like Lot's wife and not turn around. Like if I looked at my phone, I would turn into a pillar of salt. I was like, no, just be in the moment. God damn it. Just watch this long climax where Jake Sully and bad guy Colonel punch each other underwater, willing myself into trying to care about this. And I was like, okay, a kid is going to watch this. And like, there's a good environmental message. There really is. Underneath all of this gibberish and white noise, maybe a kid watches this and is like, hey, it's kind of bad to take things from the environment. People should be in harmony with nature, and maybe indigenous people kind of have the right idea. Like, that's the only silver lining I could see for this.
And to drive that point home, they're going to be spending over $1 billion, wasting good resources in making all these sequels. And to promote this movie, they dumped a bunch of chemicals in the ocean to create fake bioluminescence that people could surf on to promote this movie that promotes a message about environmentalism and caring about the planet.
Big picture, though, that kid who watches this movie is going to be so inspired that he's going to give more money than he's going to give.
More than $1 billion.
Yeah, he's gonna give 400 billion. What were you saying, Dylan?
You think that's why that spider kid exists?
Oh, for like kids to.
So kids that see that and relate to that kid because they
Okay.
can't relate to the.
He was like helping them for way too long.
Yeah, but he was also like, "Don't fucking do that." He
Yeah,
curses.
he's the only one that curses.
Don't fucking do. He does say fuck, huh?
Yeah, he says
Fuck.
one. He gets
Yeah,
one.
he's like,
you
son of a bitch, dumbass, fuck.
I did
Butthole.
notice
buttholes.
that his lip was quivering when they started nuking whales.
Yeah, so if you're a kid, you're gonna be able to.
And
relate
he
to
was
it.
bummed out when they were burning the other guys' like villages.
Yeah, he's like, oh, sorry.
Oh, he's like, I'm so sorry. I don't know what the fuck. I didn't know they were gonna do this. I'm so sorry. What the fuck are you guys doing? Cursing at them.
Yeah, don't touch me.
Lots of cursing. So I guess kids can relate.
Yeah, like a whole lot of shits and a bitch. What was that? No, he puts his fit. Puts his. That's a punch, bitch.
Oh, that was great.
That's an actual line.
Because he says, you want to make fun of my hands? See, so we have this extra finger, right? You do this.
They do this
And
really cool thing.
Oh, this is a punch, bitch.
And then I like also when they're like, look at these freaks. Look, they have 4 fingers. They have 5 fingers. right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
You're
They don't count
supposed
the
to have-
thumb.
Yeah, you're
The
supposed to
mutation
have,
is the fifth finger.
Yeah, you're
Okay.
supposed to have 3 fingers and a thumb.
Okay, well, they
not-
have 5 fingers, and they're always like, "Look at them, they have 4 fingers," and then they pick up the kid's hand, and he's flipping them off.
Yeah.
That was cool.
Yeah. that was
Anyway,
great.
yeah.
I really like this movie, honestly.
They must get away with that. They just have to talk to the MPA. It's like, listen, do you know who I am? Do you know who my father is?
You know what's funny is one thing I've noticed is that when movies are bad and maybe the people involved kind of know they're bad, they start planting things in the press that are like human interest and make the movie sound interesting, like the
Yeah.
craft of the movie. For instance, like when there's a bad George Clooney movie, they'll plant in the press, "Hey, George does pranks on set." Isn't that
Okay,
great?
right.
So for
yeah,
this
that was
one,
the Suicide Squad, right?
yeah, exactly. Let me give you what
George Lucas is
Here's
pulling
one of the
pranks.
things. One of the many things they planted on this one. They're trying to insinuate that Kate Winslet broke the underwater film record previously held by Tom Cruise on Mission Impossible: Rogue Nation. They said Cruise went 6 minutes underwater without coming up for air. This one, they said Kate went down for 7 minutes and 14 seconds.
I don't think you do like
What
no
is she doing underwater for that? Well,
breathing in a scuba tank. I mean,
Okay, so
sure.
now I'm extra confused about like. So you know how I was saying like, okay, they made the stuff that's underwater. Like they worked on the hair and whatnot. It's like, wait, if they actually had the character, like the people underwater, then they didn't do that themselves. They just, put little balls on them and then had them float around in the water. I don't know.
Yeah, let's.
Hey, a little bit of fun
Okay.
before we get out of this movie. This is only the 7th film in history to cost more than $300 million to make.
Bill, oh
Do you guys want to give a guess on what the other 6 might have been?
Avatar 1.
no way.
No, it was
BBS.
Which one?
BBS.
No, not on the list.
Really?
Endgame,
Correct. Endgame's on there.
Infinity War,
On there.
Force Awakens.
No, none of the Star Wars movies are on it.
Wow, that's crazy.
Think Water though.
Waterworld.
Aquaman?
No, not superhero, but still Disney. Water. Johnny Depp.
Oh, Pirates.
Yeah, Pirates at World's
Oh.
End and on Stranger Tides. So that's 4. You said Endgame and Infinity War. Give me one more.
Age of Ultron?
That's 5. And
Really?
then okay, now think about the length and you can probably get the 6th one.
Oh,
Justice League.
Justice League. Okay, yeah,
So
yeah.
yeah, those are the only ones that are
Those
kind of
Avengers, a lot of those Avengers ones must just be like, bro, fucking please, Robert Downey Jr., come back and do this movie.
Yeah, I think so.
I think a good chunk
Yeah.
of that is that.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, Avatar: The Way of the Water. Are we dry? Are we staying dry, or are we diving in? Diving in is you are one with the way of water. Water is life. It connects us. This is a monologue we're going to do twice in the movie to really drive it home. I myself, sadly, I really tried to be Avatar agnostic. I swear to you, I tried to like this movie. I am dry as a bone. I am dry and drying off. Still rubbing myself down with a towel in case there's any beads of sweat accidentally resembling liquid. I did not enjoy this movie. I'm sorry.
I'm gonna be dry. I like that. I assume there's some space involved. I'd like to be in the space place.
Yeah, that is drier than dry.
I
Okay.
like where your
Yeah,
head's
yeah.
at. Yeah.
Also, the Flight of the Conchords guy was in it,
Okay.
speaking like
Which one, Jermaine?
American English. Yeah, which was funny.
That's right. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. I too. Like I went in. Actually, I went in positive because people that I trust said it was amazing, and I read a lot of like the online stuff, from people that saw it earlier, and they're like, James Cameron has done it again,
Right.
folks. This is revolutionary. This is groundbreaking. I'm like, wow, I'm gonna see something really special. I did not see anything special. I have nothing clever. I thought it completely sucked. The only enjoyment I got was the whale's eye itself. I just love the design of it. And watching my friend Dylan laugh his ass off uncontrollably for like the good first hour of the movie or so.
I thought that fool passed out.
He was passed out?
Yeah, I was no. It was good. I'll dive in again. I'll probably do it like the first Avatar, where I'll see it 2 or 3 more times in theaters.
No, you won't. You're not seeing this in theaters again. Don't.
I'll do it again.
You're saying that like this.
Yeah, I'll do it again. Watch. I'll bust another ticket out.
I would be.
I just have to figure out another 3 hours. But like,
I'll be genuinely impressed if you watch this again. I'm not even like trying to be funny.
yeah, no. I'll probably watch it again. I'd like to I like to see if Jake Sully's English accent goes in and out again. Like, or maybe it was just
What are you
like
talking about? What are you bringing
maybe
up?
maybe the
See, I don't know what your accent you're talking about here.
Oi, mate, but like, oh, you know.
Hey, Dylan, we're talking about family here.
But oi, mate, you know, my fucking kids are fucking.
These Navi over here, all right, we're taking them over there. We were over here, we're going over there. What's so hard to understand about
Hey, you know,
this?
we're going to tune these Sky people up DMS style. You know what I'm saying?
I'm Captain Jack Sully.
Lower East Side.
Jake.
Anyway,
Jacob Sullyman,
Jack
attorney at law.
yeah. Anyway, I did like it. You know, it was, you know, great. I'm happy he waited long. He waited for technology to get better, and it did.
All right, we're going to talk about another film that has surprising parallels. We are a little late talking about this movie. Also, the same studio, right? Disney's Strange World. Yeah, this came out a couple weeks back, but we went to the theaters, we saw it, and I am, spoiler alert, I'm happy for the experience. This is a animation film, animation with computers involved.
Computer animated.
Computer
Walt Disney
animated.
Animation Studios was involved.
And it's a cartoon with computer drawn cartoon of the Clades, a family on quite a strange world indeed, as promised in the title. As they explore their world, they learn more about it. We, the viewer, learn more about it, and delivered the promise of the title of this film. I enjoyed this film thoroughly. I think it's safe to say we all did, right?
Loved it.
I guess we'll start with the animation. How did you guys like it?
When the movie started, it had a very 50s pulpy vibe, and I was
It's almost like Creep Show, right? Where the comic book opens
So I was
up.
like, whoa. When I saw the poster, it was a different style. I was like, are we doing this for a while? What are we doing here? It's more of like an introduction to story,
Right.
But it's also I looked into it's a nod back to the original comics that inspired it.
Okay.
So this is like 50s era comics, and I guess back then you could have the same title from different companies. There was a company called Avon Comics that ran a Strange Worlds comic.
I think they were pre-Marvel, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay, no, the pre-Marvel one was called Atlas. So Atlas and Avon were publishing a comic called Strange Worlds at the same time, independent of each other. Atlas becomes Marvel. Disney owns Marvel. So this is
So this is a comic book movie.
Yeah. So this is a comic book movie.
Well, that explains why there is a mom.
That's important in comic book movies.
No, in Disney movies,
Oh, okay.
where there's no mom. That's like a trope.
Oh, they get to break form because it's a comic book movie.
Yeah.
All
so
right.
There's a full family.
No, I can't say I love the character design at first. It's a strange style that it's done in. I think it serves the greater story that they're telling, which is like a blend of the familiar and the exotic, let's say, because in the world they're exploring and that you're learning more about, there's a lot of things that operate how they operate on Earth, and there's a lot of things that really don't. And likewise, I think the characters have some hyper-realistic elements like the hair, and then some more traditional cartoon elements like exaggerated features like the nose and the eyes. So it's a little jarring, but I think it serves the story overall. And as it went on, I kind of let go of all that stuff and I just kind of enjoyed it for what it was. Also, any of the character design elements that didn't work for me were way made up for by the environment.
Exactly.
Which I think looked amazing. The crazy blends of like electricity and organic plant life and how there are animals that grow from it. I mean, again, this is like Lost in Space / Robinson Crusoe, kind of like shipwrecked and exploring this new environment, and all that stuff really worked for me. Yeah, environmental designs were great. The plants that make electricity and the look of all the animals once they go into like the subterranean world. I was in, man, for sure.
A lot of people talk about like, you know, like the golden era of Disney, how like a lot of the animators did a bunch of drugs and that's how they got their ideas and, and their visuals. I think it's pretty clear watching this, when you look at the environmental design, you go, psychedelics. It definitely gets like in that realm, which is something I think we've talked about before, of like kind of craving from like a Doctor Strange or something. It's like, hey, can we go into like more of like an astral plane or something like that and kind of hang out there for a while? So that was there. And yeah, it's interesting that you mentioned the films you did, because you have Dennis Quaid, who played Jaeger Clade in this movie. This is actually his second film traveling inside an organism, kind of like in like almost like a space odyssey type thing. The first was Inner Space in 1987.
Oh, geez.
You
I
remember
haven't thought about
one?
that movie in a long time.
Yeah. Also interesting is this is the second time Dennis Quaid and Jake Gyllenhaal played father and son. That movie, The Day After Tomorrow, they were also father and son in that.
Same cinematic universe.
Right.
I didn't know who anybody's voice was when I was watching it.
And I gave the movie credit for that because
Yeah.
I get totally lost in something when I'm like,
Yeah.
here's Seth Rogen.
Yeah, good point.
And this was like, I was in the dark until the credits and I was like, okay, yeah, well, whoever did it was like acting, performing. So
Look, that's how it should be.
yeah,
right?
absolutely. And like, lest we forget the great character in the film, Splat, whose noises are just a bunch of bleeps and bloops, and somehow has better dialogue than all of fucking Avatar.
I like the awe factor.
Yeah, this whole movie had that. And I don't know, again, it's kismet that we're talking about this movie and Avatar at the same time, because this movie, I think, has that same pull of like, you're in a crazy world, you, the viewer, you're getting accustomed to it, but you're also following this family story. But man, I was really impressed with the pacing of this film and how I think they gave somehow, and I don't know how you figure this out, you give the right amount of attention to characterization and the family drama stuff, and everyone kind of is on the ship on a long journey and they break off and they have little moments, here's our problem, me and you. Here's our problem, me and you. Here's all three of our problems together. You figure that stuff out, but each one of those bits is interrupted by some crazy fucking planetary catastrophe that they have to avoid. And so it's like a little bit of characterization, a lot of action. A little bit of characterization, a lot of action. And it's like, oh yeah, this is how you write a story.
Yeah. They make you feel the danger that's around them at all times without bumming you out. Like, so with Avatar, we're talking about like, oh, wow, they actually fucking bombed the whales. This one, you're like, oh, fuck, is the dog going to be okay? Because the dog keeps flying out of the ship and gets saved by Splat. So you get like those up and down moments. You can tell that they're in peril at different times, like the acid, like when they're in the stomach, you're like, oh, fuck, how are they going to get through this? But yeah, they don't bum you out.
And that's like a consistent tone. Like they know the kind of movie they're making. This is a lighthearted, fun adventure movie for the whole family. Yeah, Dylan, you've been quiet. What did you enjoy this film?
Yeah, I liked it. I thought the characters were fine. What I really liked was their Earth, like their world that they live on, because they're on flying stuff.
Yeah.
Like stuff is flying, but they showed like some car, and I was like, wow, it's Studio Ghibli inspired. And I just thought it all looked good. Even like the strange world, looked great. Like the weird pterodactyls that attack them. Yeah, just about like everything. And then like they become the blood vessels when like the world starts working again.
New creatures just kept coming. Like Star Wars, they have all sorts of little guys in the corners that you're like, oh, look at that. And it's not addressed, but it's just cool. It's like it adds to the texture of the whole thing.
Yeah, definitely like jam-packed. And again, this is what they promise you. Like they're going to take you to this crazy world. I wish more movies could kind of do that if they're going to promise that, which is just show me some crazy crap. Like you don't need to really spend too much time on, well, here's the science about how this works. Like unbeknownst to you as you're watching it, it kind of unfolds into a Osmosis Jones kind of situation where you find out that all these environmental things are actually inside the body of this creature that the whole world takes place on. There's not really follow-up on that. Yeah, we don't need to spend a lot of time on how this happens, or like now the people have to radically change the way they do things. It's like, oh wait, it turns out the electricity that we're using is hurting the turtle, and we're all on the turtle, so let's cool it with the electricity stuff.
Like this one also had a time lapse. It was like 25 years later. The Jake Gyllenhaal son character gets separated from the father because the father is just so hell-bent on exploring that he's like, I gotta go over those mountains. And then the Gyllenhaal character is like, look at this is amazing. Like the
plant that they discover in the mountains,
plant that we discovered that ends up changing the quote-unquote world, right? So they get separated for 25 years. They assume that the Elder Clay died. They find him in the underworld, and instead of like, having much to do about it, he just goes, I fell down a hole.
Yeah.
And then they just keep moving. It was awesome.
Again, this is like great pacing for what it is, like a kid's movie. I don't think they could make this like a serious film without making a lot of changes. And, that's something that stuck out to me, is that this was a cartoon. I think the format and medium really served it. We again just watched Avatar, where they really try to ground all of this strange natural phenomenon, and it's like tedious because it's so grounded. Whereas this movie, because it's a cartoon, you don't expect all of the facts to make sense. It's a cartoon. It made me think about a lot of cartoons that have been coming out lately that have kind of not necessarily needed to be cartoons.
Okay.
I don't know that Encanto really needed to be a cartoon. You could make it a fun musical and probably have the same impact. On the other hand, like a Zootopia is like, that needs to be a cartoon. No one wants it. Disney, please don't make a live action Zootopia.
Yeah.
You saw what happened with cats. It's not going to work. So like cartoons that are cartoony and in a cartoon world, great. And I think this movie utilized its medium to great effect.
Hey, Justine, what was your experience watching Strange World?
I liked the textures. The hair was one of the first things that I noticed. I was like, man, that guy's beard looks amazing. And his shirt looks amazing. The textures are really good.
Yeah.
Whatever team was on that was on that. And I liked all the creature design in the Strange World. There was a lot of them that I was like, that's a Pokemon.
Yeah.
That's who is it? Xerneas. It's like I don't know, like a deer or something, but it has like spiky head.
Electricity.
I saw those guys.
And then those things that when they were walking on them, they look like a bunch of Munas.
Okay,
you know?
yeah.
And then I was like, and then what is that? Like there's a ball that has spikes that when Splat is like, come over here. It's
buddy?
really cool. But then they were bad. I was like, is that like what Wurmple turns into? And then I also remember that what it reminds me of is there's this creature in Elden Ring that's called a skeletal slime. And it's like what it sounds like. There's like a slime. And then when you get close to it, it like puts spikes out.
Right.
And they're fine unless there's a bunch of them. But it reminded me of that. And the whole underworld place. Was it under?
Yeah, it was
Inner world? Inner world.
Subterranean.
Reminded me of No Man's Sky, that game where it's like there's a lot of weird terrain and whatnot. But it was really cool when the reveal happened, the big reveal.
Boom.
That they're inside of a creature. That's really cool because then you realize that all the creatures that you've been seeing are biological, like
they tie into all the systems of the body.
Yeah, then you realize what the design was for, why they look like that and what their function is. It has that sixth sense feeling where you could watch it again and then be like, oh, that's why that thing looks like that, and that's why that looks like that.
It's been a blood cell this whole time.
Do you think it could be used to like help kids understand biology better?
No.
No. The only thing that may be that is like when they go see a light and all of a sudden they see the ocean and they're like, wait a minute, what just happened? We're not in that strange world anymore. And then they realize that it's an eye. They are so small that they're like molecular. They like were able to pass through the eye membrane like really easily, and then they went out. And it makes me super uncomfortable, things like that, when you realize that something is really small on something really big. Like the end of Men in Black, where it's like, oh no, they're in a marble. Oh my God, this kid is playing with it. How many worlds are there?
Well,
How many universes?
It's a way of going cosmic without going cosmic.
Yeah, it makes me super uncomfortable. But and then Tortuga, the world on the back.
True.
I mean, there's the mythology of like the world being on the back of a turtle, which is another cool thing that they just threw in there.
Yeah.
This is a movie where kind of like Star Wars, you can make a guide to all the cantina creatures. You can make a guide to all of the creatures in this movie.
I liked the character design. I mean, yeah, they're cartoon people, so their features are weird or whatever. But there's the kid, and he actually looks like the mixture of his parents.
Yeah.
Proper biracial character design.
He also looks like if these two characters had a child, here are the features that child would have.
Yeah,
it's not just like some random drawing of this is going to be the son and this is the mom and the dad, and they look nothing alike.
Yeah.
And they kind of use that because he shares a lot of the features of his grandpa.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I watched that Wednesday show in like a fever binge. Like literally I was sick. So like, I don't know what it is this year about characters not wanting to become their parents and like really explicitly saying it over and over and over again. But those two pieces of media I watched recently, both are really driving home that the main character does not want to be like his parents.
But I really like when his dad is looking at him and he's like horrified thinking that his kid is going to be like his grandpa.
Right.
And then he turns into him, and he grows a mustache and it gets all like demon looking or something.
Right.
He's in hell.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is now the worst thing you can do is become your parents.
Having seen the movie, doesn't it feel a bit ridiculous that there is like a fight happening in, I guess, the binary political parties? You know, like how, like, you know, some people are like, oh, this is a woke movie. And none of that stuff seemed to matter. It definitely didn't matter to me when I was watching it. It just seems so blown out of proportion.
Yeah, I thought it was really nice to watch in the sense of, like, if you can make a fantastic world, right, and where electricity comes from plants and cars are powered by whatever, and you're literally floating on the back of a turtle, why would you bother making people be prejudiced? It's a fantasy portrayal. Like, people can just be what they are, and you can have a United Nations of people on a ship working together, and no one's going to be mean to each other based on their race or sexual orientation. Like, yeah, this is what A+ all around on just portraying a fantastic world where things don't operate like our world, and where the kid can kind of casually mention that he's gay to his grandfather.
Yeah.
25 years ago.
Despite these generation gaps, he's like, well, that's cool. Here's how you impress this guy. Like, I think it would really have been a detriment to the film if they took time out to be like, well, I'm the black mom and you're the white guy. And no, just show me this utopian world where everyone's getting along and everyone's represented, and the dog has 3 legs and no one mentions it. This is, again, tonally consistent. Yes. Everything matches up. It would be weird if in this kind of fun world, it would be bogged down with the weird fucking prejudices that we have on ours.
Yeah.
A+ job all around. That worked for me.
I did turn to Colin at that part where he's like telling his granddad that he is gay. And I was like, oh no, he's going to be homophobic. Just watch. He's going to be the bad guy. Whatever.
The pump fake?
Yeah, I was like, oh no, he's the bad guy. Fuck. No, he's cool.
No, that's our bullshit. We got to deal with that here.
Yeah,
you go to this cartoon world, you don't have to deal with that shit.
Yeah, they had, what is it called? Like an economy of storytelling or something like
Right.
that.
Yeah.
Where the conflict comes from within the group that you've already been introduced to.
Right.
They're like, hey, we got to go do this thing. Oh, no, we shouldn't do this. No, we do have to do this thing.
Right.
You know, so there's a disagreement among the crew. And then they realize, oh, no, it is something that's bad. We shouldn't be hurting this creature. All right, everyone's on board now to do like the right thing. It's utopian. They change their minds when they find out, you know, like even though it's going to be difficult for them, they still do the right thing.
It shows you that communication can get you through potential peril.
Yeah, they work together.
When Splat just he's like, hold on. Let me
Touch
just
the green
talk
guys.
to these little
So
jujubes.
Yeah.
Or even like the board game, how the father and the grandfather are like, well, who do
we
we
need
kill?
to conquer the land.
Yeah,
It needs to be
yeah.
a bad guy. Yeah, the generation gap issues were handled well. And I don't mean to, bog it down with kind of current politics, but I really felt that when they adapted, the conclusion is that, like, they can't use electricity, which propelled their society forward, the same way because it's killing the environment, right? And they had to have a paradigm shift. I think maybe if I'm trying to write about a pre and post COVID world, that's kind of the story I tell, or I tell it in that way to show, like, you can pivot, you can adapt, and like things can be okay. Yeah. And I mean, everyone's, I think, in the last couple of years had to make some pretty significant changes, maybe not. Here's a film to just show you that, like, it can be okay.
It's kind of more in black and white environmental if you think about it.
Right.
They are using this plant that they then realize is killing their land,
Right.
which is oil.
Yeah.
And our earth is dying from using all that. And then they're like, okay, we have to stop this because they're saying it's going to kill our world. Our world is this living thing. All right, we're going to kill our world, so we need to stop using that. And they do. And then at the end, you see that they are able to power stringed lights because they start using wind energy. So you see like the turbine thing, and then how they're now moving to a different form of making electricity so that they can still have, the luxuries or whatever. They just had to use a different thing. So it's like, oh yeah, stop using oil and start using wind, or whatever.
Because you're telling a utopian story in a fantasy land, everyone's like, okay, yeah, let's all work together to make that happen and kind of deal with the hardships of making this pivot and change.
It's gonna be tough, but we can do it.
We'll all work together for the greater good.
I do think that you can bring that over into the real world. Like the Father Clade character, he's all about family legacy and like handing down this farm that he's created. Wow, this is something to be proud of, and I can't wait to hand it down to my son. Oh, my son doesn't want it. Then through this adventure, they find out that the legacy is killing the world ultimately, and he's mature enough to let it go for the benefit of everybody else. That's a great message. Yeah, bring that into the world.
I just realized that. Oh no, there's still a missing mom because the first Clade and son, the mom is already dead. Oh no, she's not dead. He says she's gone.
That was also a pump fake.
Yeah.
They're like, he's gone. Like, oh, the Disney thing where the mom's dead. No.
She's just
remarried.
gone. She's still gone.
Dickhead was gone for 25 years.
The grandfather says, she's dead. He says, I never said that. I said she's gone. You've been gone for 25 years.
I don't remember what the new husband or whatever his name is, but he's like, I hate blah, blah, blah. You never even met him.
Like Sebastian or something like that.
Right.
And then he sees him at the end. And he's
Way bigger than him,
super
too.
young.
Yeah.
Right.
Young and bigger than him.
That movie felt good.
It was good. It was a good time. It was a good time all around. So, strange world. Are we going aboard the airship to travel to the strange world, or are we staying in our shitty, prejudice-filled, environmentally horrific planet that we all have to live in every day? For me, there's no doubt in my mind. I'm getting on that airship, baby. I'm going to the turtle planet. Let's go.
Yeah. I think the son ends up staying in the inside.
They can go back and forth once they know their way around. So.
Yeah. I'll stay on the inside.
All right.
Yeah.
You're going in the turtle. That's
in the turtle.
even further away from our world. Okay.
I'm already in the turtle. I need the ship to catch up with me. You know what I'm saying? I'm screaming around in the turtle. I'm having a great time. I'm not coming back up to the surface.
That's what's up, Dylan.
I'll get on that strange world. I like that cross between like Indiana Jones and Star Wars and shit. I just want to know who's like the animators. Like I want to know if they were
Disney Animation Studios.
Well, I want to know like who worked on it and if they worked on like the Peanuts movie, because around that time they did like that Peanuts movie and then like a short Popeye clip. It just reminded me of that. I just wonder if it's the same people and Walt Disney just stole them.
Yeah, I think they intentionally want those teams to be as anonymous as possible.
Yeah,
no, we sat through the credits, which were very long, and they credited everybody.
Every single body.
Everybody.
But that's just it. If you just bury people in names, no one's gonna stick out.
Yeah. There was like a super weirdly specific one.
Oh, caffeination.
Yeah, caffeination
the
was
coffee
one.
guy. I can get behind that.
Yeah.
I'd actually like to shout out Regal for properly reissuing Conan the Barbarian 40th anniversary.
You saw that Solo Dolo style.
Oh, I absolutely did. Because I was 6 at the time that the movie came out. I never got to see it in theaters because it was R-rated.
Right.
So this is the first time I actually got to see it in theaters. I'm really glad I did it. Unlike Dawn of the Dead 3D, which was just a bad idea in the first place and just a bad transfer. This thing sounded great. It looked great. I was in the theater with, I would say 15, 16-ish other guys just kind of there by themselves.
Emphasis on guys.
Yeah, all guys. All who were versed in the movie, so everybody was like anticipating certain lines and certain scenes, and they would just like explode with glee. So it was really nice that they brought that back. Thank you, Regal.
So we've gone to 2 different worlds, followed 2 different families, but now we're back to Earth, and we're playing games as families do. Brent, why don't you give us some Maltin Movie Masters here?
Our first movie is from 2004. Here's your description. Sorry's sequel has casino boss Garcia demanding that main character and his gang repay the money they stole from him. So they go to Europe to plan a heist or two. Lots of talk. Meant to be cool, but mostly incoherent, and little action. Plus in-jokes and guest star cameos to show how much fun everybody had making the film. Bruce Willis, Albert Finney, and Topher Grace appear unbilled.
I got title and...
Okay.
I got 2.
Okay. Justine, do you have title and...
No, I didn't know, and then I tuned out. I didn't know so bad.
Okay, so this is a face-off between Dylan and Colin. You're both at title and 2.
I might get title wrong, frankly. I'll shoot for 3.
You want to?
No, I'll stick with 2.
Okay.
It's Ocean's 12.
It is.
Okay.
And it's Brad Pitt, George Clooney,
You are correct.
Julia Roberts.
Yeah.
All right.
We learned that this year.
Yeah,
I have a
retaining
4th.
the information.
Can I guess?
Of course. Let's have fun.
So it is Ocean's 12.
Yes.
Everything Colin just said.
Yeah.
Is Matt Damon in it?
Matt Damon's in it. You got other options: Catherine Zeta-Jones, Andy Garcia, Don Cheadle, Bernie Mac, Casey Affleck, Scott Conn. It kind of runs out of your
The
Regulars.
name
yeah,
brand.
your
Big
regulars
names.
up there. Yeah.
And it's Ocean's 13 is the third movie, right? Oh my god.
I've never seen any of these movies.
fucking
Not
great.
even the old
There's
ones.
old ones, whatever. Old ones like the Rat
The Rat
Pack,
Pack,
right?
yeah.
I don't think you would hate it because it's like quick, witty, dialogue driven, which I know to be the kind of films you like.
Yeah, it's very fast paced too.
They're pretty palatable films. I don't have contempt for the Ocean's movies.
We're going to go to the year 2000 right now. The description is 3 escaped convicts share a series of adventures and inadvertently become a singing sensation performing old-timey music in 1930s Mississippi. Delightfully eccentric, an adaptation of Homer's The Odyssey, full of clever ideas, irresistible music, and sharp dialogue. The title is derived from Preston Sturges' Sullivan's Travels. Innovative use of color by cinematographer Roger Deakins.
Why do I just have one actor?
I only have one actor too.
Ah,
Everyone just has
Maybe
one
two.
actor.
I could guess the second one.
go for it. If you
Is
get the
it-
second one, you win.
Is it Oh Brother Where Art Thou?
Oh, yes, it is.
And then is it George Clooney?
Okay.
And see, in my mind, it's also Matt Damon. But I was like, it's like I know that's wrong.
Is
It's
he
not
gonna
Matt
commit?
Damon.
No. Well, think about the director, and you can probably go with some of their favorites.
Martin Lawrence in it.
Oh, Nick Cage.
No.
Ah,
That's Con Air. Who's the director?
This is a Coen Brothers movie.
I'm like seeing their dumb faces pop up and go,
Yeah, right?
I'm a man of
He
constant
deserves the point for
sorrow."
getting the song. I can't name.
But I
it.
don't know the other head that pops up. God damn it.
I just mentioned Raising Arizona, so if you can grab a couple actors in that movie.
No one knows that movie like you know that movie, Brent. You can't just go around like everyone like that's common knowledge.
I'm smiling very big right now. Yeah.
If it was not Nick Cage, you can't expect anyone else to know who.
What about Holly Hunter?
Who was that?
Yeah, I wouldn't-
Yeah,
She was
no-
the lead in Raising Arizona.
I wouldn't have
What
guessed she's
about
in. Oh,
John Goodman?
Okay,
that's
that
who
I
it is.
totally
Oh,
should have
thank
got.
you.
You're right about that.
What
one.
about John Turturro? No?
I've never seen the movie, so
You never seen Oh Brother Where Art Thou?
I only know.
witty.
Oh Brother Where Art Thou from the CD we always get at work.
Yeah,
But like
Very
I've never
popular
seen that
compact
movie.
disc.
Yeah.
Damn, I wonder how much that sold. The CD,
Oh,
the soundtrack, tons, and then immediately forgotten about. Okay,
don't know, couldn't say.
what's next? Malt me.
Up next, 1988. The amorous adventures of 3 young women who work at a pizzeria in Connecticut.
Fuck.
Superficial in the extreme, but geared for a young female audience. A nice little film that isn't all that good.
God
Rated
damn
R.
it.
I have one.
You got
I might have two.
you got the title and possibly 2 actors?
Yeah.
I'm like cheating with the one because I'm just assuming all these are George Clooney's. So yeah, if you got more actors than one,
Justine, are you in on this one?
I don't think I can come up with more than two.
All right, we'll go back to you if you can't get the 2.
I don't even know if I can get the movie.
I know the movie.
See, I might be wrong.
Well,
I might be confusing it with another movie.
I think I'm confusing it with another movie.
it's an easy. The movie's easy.
It's not Mystic Pizza, is it?
It is.
And then
Now,
it's Julia Roberts,
Correct.
and Sandra Bullock.
No Sandra Bullock.
Fuck. See, that's where I.
All
That's
right,
where I'm lost.
Justin, you can steal this if you can name any other
Yeah.
actor in this movie.
What's the
or
movie I'm
director.
thinking of?
Practical Magic.
Yeah.
Banger.
Okay.
Damn
That's
it.
what I was
Banger.
saying. I might be confusing it with, and I think I am.
Oh, I think I have a twist if you don't have it. Oh no, I'm confusing it with something else.
Oh, I
Yeah,
got a
I
weird
know, I'm
twist if you don't
confused.
name.
And I
Confusing these
can't remember the
movies.
lady's name. It's like Lily something.
Yeah, you're right. There is a Lily in it.
Yeah, I can't remember her
Last
name.
name?
Though.
It's Lily Taylor.
Oh, never mind. I got it wrong
Oh.
then.
You've also
I just
got
heard Lily.
Annabeth Gish.
Cher's
Vincent-
not in it. Cher's Moonstruck.
Yeah, that's Moonstruck.
That's what, okay. I'm
yeah.
thinking.
the guy-
my mom watched
who's
both of
the
those movies a
guy?
lot, so they're just getting swapped around
The
in my
what?
brain.
Who's the guy in it?
We'll check this out. Matt Damon is in this movie.
Motherfucker.
Just guess Matt.
Yeah, if
Damon.
you
Every
would've
movie
guessed
has Matt Damon on this one.
Yep, you would have
I
got that.
rewatched Moonstruck recently. What a delightful film.
Great
so
movie.
good.
That's crazy.
So good.
Who would have thought? Oh, aside from the Academy, is that the one Nick Cage won an award for? He's got a-
Cher did.
Okay.
Nick Cage might have been nominated, but I don't know.
Well, he's got an Oscar though, right?
Oh, Con Air.
Yeah. Ghost Rider 2. The Oscars finally decided
All
to
right,
acknowledge.
we're gonna go 1996. Intriguing premise: the story of Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde from the point of view of a housemaid in his employ. Unfortunately, this chamber drama is played out in ponderous fashion and almost sinks under its own weight, despite the interesting performances by its stars. Admittedly, the lead actress is Irish accent comes and goes at whim. Another actress in the film is fun in a flamboyant part as a madam. Screenplay by Christopher Hampton from the novel by Valerie Martin.
Justine, go ahead.
Yeah, I got a big old 0 on this one. I'm sorry.
I'm gonna guess Mystic Pizza.
Moonstruck. Beaches.
You've got to have this one, right? Really?
It's not.
Hold on, say it again.
Yeah, I got nothing. I got nothing too. Mary Shelley's Frankenstein.
Whoa, Mary? Oh, Mary?
Mary Riley.
Yes. Give me.
That's the movie.
Yeah. You got any actors or actresses in it?
No, and I can like hear the commercial.
That does strike me as a very you kind of film, and all. I think Brent's on to something here.
Yeah.
I thought that was for sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I'll give you some of the major ones. Julia Roberts as the lead. John Malkovich, Glenn Close. Those are the big ones.
You ever seen that movie?
No, I remember it.
I know, I
It's like an
remember.
adult movie.
Yeah,
you
it's
know?
definitely for grown
Which is
folks.
why I remember like the commercial, but
I've never watched.
nobody. In
Yeah,
it.
exactly.
Yeah.
Dang, we need to watch some Mary Riley.
Mary Riley.
Yeah, I feel like you have to see this one. Let's go to Dylan's wheelhouse. 1991. Okay.
Go on.
Unfortunate cheapening of the beloved James Barry tale of character with lead actor as a heartless corporate takeover honcho who must rediscover his true identity in order to save his children who've been kidnapped by the villain. Great casting and key roles is dissipated by a script that offers no joy and very little magic, with a troupe of TV generation lost boys who'd be more at home in a McDonald's commercial. Musician David Crosby and an unrecognizable Glenn Close have bit parts as pirates. If this is blank for the 90s, give us the 50s instead. Panavision.
Batman
that?
Forever.
That is a mean description.
Yeah.
So
Maltin's
mean.
going off.
I don't even know what he's
Respect.
talking about, bro.
Yeah,
Really?
I swear I was gonna say Scrooged at first, but
There's pirates in it.
he's a guy.
See, that's what I don't know what the fuck is happening.
There's a dad.
You could say he
All right,
is
all
and
right.
she
He
is.
has
And
kids.
days, I'd be like, what the
Sorry.
fuck? Yeah, yeah.
Oh, I know it.
Oh,
Okay.
Jesus.
yeah.
and I
we got
have
nothing.
one actor.
Oh, you just need to
Go ahead,
yeah,
actually,
say the
title.
If I can use those other two,
Say the title.
it's Pan.
Nope.
Dang it!
Oh.
But you're in.
Oh,
you're-
this is Hook.
okay.
That's it.
Richard Dreyfuss. It's got Robin Williams
Uh-huh.
and Rufio.
Oh, you know what? Dreyfus isn't in it, but yeah, you got
Dreyfuss
Robin
isn't in
Williams.
it?
Yeah.
No, who's the
Dustin Hoffman.
Dustin fucking
Yeah.
Hoffman?
Wait,
Yeah.
what, why did you do this movie?
Because Julia Roberts is in it.
Fuck. I forgot Julia Roberts is Tinkerbell. So I was like, there's no George Clooney.
So sharp-eared listeners would realize that I meant to do this after the Ticket to Paradise episode, but we did other things. So I'm burning through these now. Tell you what, we're gonna because we're arbitrary here. Whoever gets this one is gonna win the game.
Okay.
We're going to 1996. Here is your description. Two out-of-control criminal brothers mow their way through Texas, heading for a rendezvous in Mexico, and take a family and their RV hostage. But the rendezvous location turns out to be a hellish biker bar inhabited by vampires. Indefensible trash certainly works on a visceral level. How much you can take will depend on your GQ, gross out quotient.
Okay.
Wow.
He cites the screenwriter and actor that everybody knows seem to be having fun, especially in their casting choices, but this is just a celebration of excess. In fact, it might be retitled Natural Born Vampires, followed by a 2 DVD sequel and a TV series.
We're casting
you
shade
know.
with these sequels no one watched. 1, 2.
I got 6.
You got 6?
Yeah. Are you getting any more than 6?
The lady is confusing me. I think I'd botch the lady.
Uh-huh. Might even have 7, but I have to remember how to
that's
say
so
one of the
sick,
ladies'
dude.
names.
Fuck. A Hail Mary 7.
Wow.
So we're tied at 7.
Damn, hold
Anybody
on.
got
hold
8?
on, hold on. Let me think of the 8th.
This could be as few as 5 because I'm gonna get. I think I'm wrong on a few.
Justine, you want to try and guess more than 7?
No, I have like 4.
You want to do 7?
I
Wanna
think it's
do
a. I can't go more than 7.
I can't do more than 7. I don't think I can do
And
it.
I'm pretty. If I'm wrong on Harvey Keitel, then it's him.
How are we going to determine who goes then?
Yeah, I'll let him go first. That's his Hail Mary.
Yeah.
All right, dude. Give me 7.
Okay. So we got Harvey Keitel. He's
Correct.
the dad, right? This is from Dust Till Dawn. We all know.
Yeah.
Quinron
That's 2.
Fiorino.
Yep.
Cheech Marin.
That's 3.
Danny Trejo.
Damn it. I was hoping you wouldn't
Check,
remember those
check,
guys.
check.
One.
That's 4.
Georgethan Clooneyman.
That's 5.
Juliette Lewis.
That's 6.
All right, I got some Hail Marys here.
Oh fuck. I have 2 more then.
Is it Catherine Zeta-Jones?
No.
That's not her.
Is it Ving Rhames?
No.
I'm not seeing him listed
God
here.
damn it! All right, the easiest one.
Hayek.
Selma fucking Hayek.
And Tom Savini.
Yes, dude. Great job. Movie master Dylan,
I
congratulations.
miscounted in my head. I was like,
8 out of 16.
I know, I'm so-
That's
That's
amazing.
good. I'll never remember the ladies.
You got Harvey Keitel, George
Yes.
Clooney, Quentin Tarantino, Juliette Lewis, Selma Hayek, Cheech Marin, Tom Savini, Fred Williamson. Not sure
No
who
one
that
would
is.
know. It's probably
John
like-
Saxon, Kelly Preston, Mark Lawrence, Michael Parks, who's like in a lot of Tarantino related.
Right.
Ernest Louis, no clue who that is. Danny Trejo, Tito LaRiva, and John Hawkes
All right,
are
then
the
I don't
16
know
Yeah.
any
most.
of those people.
So
All
for
right.
him to pull 8 out of that,
Respect.
insane.
well, you just confused Salma Hayek with Catherine
I know.
Zeta-Jones.
Yeah, if you would have gone,
And Tom Savini. You just
I wouldn't have gotten Tom.
but
Savini.
see, yeah, I think he would have like.
Yeah,
added
the Savini
and
would have
nailed
got
it.
me.
Yeah, yeah.
All right, we are the movie masters. That was a good round of Maltons. We got some stuff out of our system. We went to some worlds, right?
Yeah, I suppose.
Dylan, why don't you take us out?
Fuck you.
Ah.
Fun.
Hey everybody, thank you for tuning into this week's episode. Join us next time where we hopefully watch Puss in Boots, Babylon, and I Want to Dance with Somebody. Hope I get to dance during that movie because we all love Whitney Houston, especially the first 2 albums. See you guys next time. Bye.